Yadong pokes his way to a win against Henry Cejudo. This is like a second win from an eye poke after Chris Weidman. Weidman got a knockout from an eye poke. Yadong won by a decision. Cejudo should have told the doctor that he couldn't see in that first break. Then it would have been a no contest. And you can also see when Bruce Buffer's talking about the scorecards. Cejudo seemed surprised about the 30-27. So you could tell it was on his mind who was going to win on the scorecards after the third round. Maybe he believed that he could have won. But Song Yadong was of course winning the fight. I don't even think it should have been 29-28. I thought it should have been 30-27 for Song Yadong. And if there was a point deduction, which I also think Jason Herzog should have had a point deduction, still Song Yadong wins the fight. There's way too many eye pokes that fighters benefit from because there's no point deductions. Like, when's the last time a fighter had a point deduction from an eye poke? Was it the Cesar Almeida fight where there was like 1,000,000 eye pokes in that fight? And there was only like 1 point deduction. It made no sense. Eye pokes is one of the best techniques to use as an MMA fighter because the referees just love them for some reason. But Song was landing a lot of good shots, especially leg kicks. They were both exchanging a lot of leg kicks, but in the third round, you could see that Song was starting to take over the fight and Cejudo was slowing down. I think if the fight would have went into the fourth and fifth rounds, the fight would have been more one-sided than it was in the third round. So I do think eventually, regardless, Song Yadong was probably going to win the fight, but maybe Cejudo could have landed some big punch and knock Song out. He did have a good adjustment in the second round, switching into southpaw and then leading with the right jab, and Cejudo's very good at adapting in these fights. He showed that against Marlon Moraes, Demetrius Johnson, and even the second round with Song Yadong. But maybe there's going to be a rematch as both fighters wanted, but I don't think the rematch is going to be as competitive as the first fight was. I guess they're going to fight each other. I'd rather see Song Yadong fight the winner of Corey Sandhagen and David Figueiredo, and Henry Cejudo fight Mario Batista. And that Anthony Hernandez defeats Brendan Allen by a decision. Such a good fight. And probably the best grappling exchanges we've ever seen at middleweight. Back and forth scrambles and reversals. That's the kind of grappling that can make anyone a fan. Every sequence felt like a near finishing moment. Allen would get top position and go for a rear naked choke, reversed by Hernandez, who would then counter with his own darts and rear naked chokes. Then Allen reverses and the fight continues like that. But Hernandez was overall the better grappler. So many grappling sequences throughout, and definitely a fight to rewatch. For their next fights, Anthony Hernandez should fight either Robert Whittaker or Jared Cannonier. And as for Brendan Allen, maybe the winner of Martin Vettori and Roman Dolidze. And then we're going to Rob Font defeating John Matsumoto by a decision. As I said, Rob Font will not be used as a stepping stone by the UFC, defeating Adrian Yanez, Kyler Phillips, and now John Matsumoto. Amazing fight where Font was landing a lot of jabs, straights, elbows, even cut Matsumoto with an upward elbow. Matsumoto did get many takedowns, but didn't do much with them. I thought when Font went for the guillotine that he threw the fight, but he still landed enough damage in the striking to win. I did think Rob Font should have won the fight as well. It was kind of close, but that's a good fight where you see the striking damage beat just takedowns and top control, right? With the takedowns, you have to establish an attack, which is like ground and pound or submissions or even transitions to a dominant position. Great underdog win, but then we go to John Silva obliterating Melsik Baghdasaryan in the first round. Never accept a high five from John Silva. Once he starts getting friendly in the fight, he starts to dominate. And Melsik's a good striker who's never been knocked out in MMA, but he's also never fought someone as technical and powerful as John Silva. Fighters who are technical and finish fights usually reach the top of the weight classes. John Silva might be top 5 caliber already at featherweight. And the left hook right straight combo as Melsik was angling to his right on the back foot. Just great precision from Silva. And the ref wanted an execution by not stopping the fight after the knockdown. John Silva spazzed out with 12-6 elbows. What is there more to say about Silva's skill level? Give him a ranked opponent, top 15 or top 10. He's more than ready. Maybe Edson Barboza or Dan Ige. Both those fights would be insanely entertaining. I think he would knock Barboza out, and he might go to a decision with Dan Ige because he's very durable. And then we have Mansour Abdul Malik TKOing Nick Klein in the second round. He grabbed the kick, shoved him to the ground and wailed on him to a finish, but Klein almost won some bettors a lot of money landing that spinning elbow. Rocked Mansour, who was like a 10-1 favorite, and Mansour tried to return with his own spinning elbow, but missed. Klein did get his only takedown after that shot, but Mansour had ironclad takedown defense, stonewalling the wrestling of Klein. Overall, a great win for Mansour, who might be a future top 10 fighter. And then with Alonzo Menefield, slugs his way to a decision win against Julius Walker. The first decision on the entire card was also in the heaviest weight class. I'm guessing the judge that scored the fight 30-27 for Walker is somehow related to him, because how? How do you give Julius Walker 30-27 in that fight with Menefield? That makes no sense. Julius Walker wanted to get the fight to the ground right away and fighting the clinch, but Menefield's takedown defense was solid, keeping the fight standing and just sluggishly swung to win the striking. Both fighters gassed out after the first round, but each round was similar. Walker clinching, landing leg kicks, straight punches, but Menefield landing the most impactful shots. And Ian Cutelaba is power. As he said, he beat Ibo Aslan by being the more well-rounded fighter and didn't just brawl like he used to. Cutelaba showed better fight IQ and shot takedowns to offset Aslan, but Aslan did land some decent punches and seemed to be more powerful, pressuring Cutelaba, but Cutelaba hurts Aslan, takes him down into a fight for full mount. The transition from Aslan to stop the full mount opened up an arm triangle for Cutelaba, and he snatched into that choke so fast, especially for a light heavyweight too. Amazing win for Cutelaba, and had probably the best post-fight interview in his entire career. The title run starts now for the Hulk, and then Andre Fili dove into a guillotine against Costa. The striking was pretty even, both fighters landing powerful kicks, Fili landing a few counter punches, good movement for both fighters, but then Fili just wanted to test out Costa's squeeze on his guillotine real quick, make sure to get his head all the way in there, and didn't fight it at all, wanted to lose that fight. He shot a single leg takedown, got his head out of the first guillotine, but then wrapped his arms around Costa to body lock him, and then got guillotine again, and kept his neck in there. He tapped quick and didn't even fight out of it. He pushed up on the elbow for a moment, but then that was it. Like, he didn't try to pull his head out, he didn't try to at least punch his way out or really shove his elbow out of the way. It's almost like once the guillotine was in, which he gave to Costa, he kind of just gave up. To see him not fight the guillotine like that is so crazy. And then Ricky Simon blasts right through Javid Bashara in the first round. Bro really went Super Saiyan, dyed his hair blonde, and just knocked out the big favorite in the first round like that is crazy. Left took it to right straight, very similar to the John Silva knockout. Javid Bashar was countering him very well, moving around the cage, landing knees, right straight counters, defending the takedowns. It looked like Javid Bashar was the better fighter, and then that one exchange, the power of Ricky Simon, and the speed as well. When he blitzes in there, Bashar reacted kind of late. He tried to move off the center line to his left, but he was too slow. Left hook hits him, lines up the right straight, punches through the jaw and knocks him out. What a win for Ricky Simon, man. And he needed that win. He was on a 3-fight loss streak, back in the winning column, and he should stay blonde. And then Austin Vanderford, in his UFC debut, TKO's Nikolai Veretennikov in the second round with ground and pound. This fight wasn't even close, just a one-sided wrestling advantage. And even in the stand-up, Nikolai was swinging the left hook, leg up in the air and all that, just asking for a double leg takedown from Austin Vanderford. Vanderford landed great elbows, had him up against the fence in the second round, Dagestani handcuff or wrist rode him into ground and pound with the left hand, and after he landed like 20 or 30 punches, the ref stops the fight, and Nikolai is arguing with the referee. Bro, you sat there and did nothing except take punches to the side of the head for like 30 seconds straight. Why are you complaining? And then he pushes Vanderford. He shoves Vanderford against the fence. Bro's never fighting UFC again. You get dominated, finished, argue with the ref, and then shove your opponent after he beats you. Waste his space in the UFC. Give me other fighters could have been there instead of this guy. And Vanderford took the fight on short notice too. You're gonna go and push the guy. He saved he saved the fight for you. He saved your fight, finished you, and you're going to put your hands on him after the fight? I don't know if Dana even talked about it, but I can imagine they're not going to have that guy fight in the UFC ever again. And then Resultin Ruzaboev. TKO's Eric Mechanico in the second round. And Resultin was just throwing big punches from range, reaching it with the right hand, and Mechanico wasn't really doing anything throughout that fight. He threw a total of 16 strikes, and Resultin threw 46. Mechanico was just defensive, moving around, wasn't really throwing many shots back, and just gave the whole control of the fight to Resultin. Landed the right hand, rocked him, and then finished off the fight. Easy win for Resultin Ruzaboev. And then Modestas Bukauskas knocks out Rafael Cerqueira in the first round. Absolutely pulverized him against the fence. Unloaded with combinations, very similar to what Ibo Aslan did. Cerqueira just isn't that great against pressure. He got rocked by the left hook, and the Bukauskas just unloaded with combinations. All power punches, and slumped him. Cerqueira was doing a good job of landing the right straight punch being looping punch as Bukauskas was trying to counter with the left hook. It was like the same kind of exchange that Kamaru Usman knocked out Jorge Masvidal. But Bukauskas had a good chin, ate all of those punches, returned with the left hook eventually, right in front of the guard of Cerqueira, and then knocked him out against the fence. Amazing win for Modestas Bukauskas. And that is the Henry Cejudo and Song Yadong fight card. Hope you guys enjoy the fights. What would you guys rate the fight card out of 10? And I'll see you guys in the next video.